So we're going to start to address the question from Kalan. This question, how did you develop such a strong groove with a rock funk setting? So I want to first start talking about just in general how to practice with a metronome. What is really the way to do it? And what you should think about when you practice with a metronome. So here I'm putting the metronome on 60, all right? And so the thing about practicing with a metronome is that, you know, when you're practicing with a metronome, you're practicing one thing, time. That's the whole point. So I recommend practicing with a metronome sometimes and also not practicing with a metronome sometimes. When you do practice with a metronome, though, your focus and your attention and concentration should be on the metronome and not on other things. If you want to concentrate on other things, turn the metronome off for now and then, you know, work it in later. But when the metronome's on, you're really working on time. Anything that you're practicing is geared around that. I don't think it's so smart to have the metronome on in the background while you're thinking about something else. I don't think that that's actually very helpful. So we're going to put the metronome on 60 here. And so I'm just going to first just start trying to play quarter notes with the metronome. Now I'm really trying to play at the same time as the metronome. If I play early or I play late, I'm making a note of that. You want to try to cover up the sound of the metronome. That's where my focus is. Once that starts to get, you know, fairly in the pocket, try adding some eighth notes. And then back to quarter notes. See, immediately when I went to eighth notes, it wasn't as solid. So let's try it again. That was better. Simple ideas, and then repeat those ideas. And try to cover the metronome. It's even harder to do when you speak. There's a rest in that phrase that I'm playing. There's a rest between at the end of the phrase. I'm playing ba 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 da da, rest. So the tendency in the rest actually that's actually the part that you have to concentrate most on, because the tendency is to either shorten that rest or even sometimes lengthen it. So you really want to be able to keep your place if you're not playing. So work on space. Let's bring in triplets and see where that, you know, if you can go back and forth between triplets and eighth notes. So that's with the metronome on 60. Now, I would recommend that you change the metronome tempo. This is 45. So that there's even more space in there. And really doing the same thing. I'm going back and forth between triplets, eighth notes, and 16th notes, and really just trying to accurately hear the relationship of all those together. I'm not playing anything complicated, and I'm also really focusing on where I'm playing in relation to the metronome. So if I'm playing on the beat where the metronome is, you know, is the note coming before the metronome? Is it coming after the metronome? And why? And you want to look out for inconsistencies, things that, I mean, there's always going to be inconsistencies, but if you're doing, you know, an inconsistency often, the same problem. If you're rushing, if most of the time you're ahead of the metronome, that means you're rushing most of the time. If most of the time you're behind the metronome, that means you're dragging most of the time. So you kind of want to make that, you know, fairly even. You're on top, you're behind, about the same amount of time. You know, something to pay attention to. But again, when the metronome is on, you're thinking about time.